Hi, and thank you for joining me for another video where I hope to share some awesome tips with you that help me lead my best life in a business that I love and that works for me. So I had a really interesting morning yesterday. I was getting ready for work and my daughter runs into the bathroom and says to me, "Mommy, snuggle Daphne." And it really got me. It forced me to take pause immediately, and my heart was so torn. I was already behind, which is, typical. And I had, she wanted me to stop and snuggle her. And it was so hard in that moment to realize I couldn't do that. I had to move forward and get ready for work, and I had people that were counting on me to be there at a certain time. And this was the situation that I had chosen, but I couldn't help but be heartbroken in the moment. So why do I share this sappy mom story with you on your Friday early afternoon here? Because I have made a conscious choice to share my life in the way that I do. Part-time with my family, part-time at work, part-time with my friends, part-time doing self-care. And I have to constantly reevaluate and make sure that the way that I have set up the way that I split my time still works for me. It is very different than the way that I used my time when I was in my 20s and before I had kids and before I was married. It looks very different now. But I'm conscious of the fact that it is something that I always choose. So in that moment, I was really faced with the choices that I've decided on. And it forced me to reevaluate throughout the course of that day to see if it was still working for me. And it wasn't so obvious, I have to be honest. It was a very tough morning when I drove away and was thinking, was this the right choice? Is my daughter going to sustain psychological trauma because I have left to go to work today? And some of you might be laughing at that as I say that, but it was a very real question for me, like, is this the right thing to do? So throughout the day, I was thinking about, how is this working for me? Well, I ended up having a wonderful day full of clients that I love working with and serving, having lunch with a friend and catching up, lots of laughs, some good healthy tears, and some serious work being done. And it helped me realize all the things that I do get from splitting my time in a way that serves me. So I looked at my entire day, and that morning I had woken up early before anyone else was up and gone to the gym. This is a new practice for me. I absolutely love it because it helps me start my day on my terms and do some self-care for myself before I do anything else. I spend a lot of my time serving others, helping others, and this really helps me kickstart that day and helps remind me that I'm important too, and I need to serve myself as well and give myself what I need to have a great day. And that leaves me feeling rejuvenated, helps me serve my family right when I come back and everyone's just waking up. And so that really reminded me that balance is a big part of what we do. I balance caring for myself with caring for others. Without caring for myself, I couldn't possibly care for others. I couldn't possibly care for people in the way that I really want to, in the way that the people in my life deserve. And so I'm conscious of the fact that I need to take that time for me so that I can be successful in the way that I want to serve people in my life. I also realized that when I'm at work, it feeds a part of my brain that doesn't get fed when I'm at home doing mommy things. Again, one is not more important than the other, but I'm aware of the fact that I'm a complex human being and I need different types of activities in my life to make me feel good, to help me feel engaged and whole and have things that I look forward to. And there are certain days where I can't wait to go to work because I'm so excited to solve problems. I'm so excited to sit with adults and hear about, what their pain point is or what their big dream is and help them get closer to that place. I absolutely love what I do. I think I have the world's best job. And I hope that the way that I approach that really shows it. But then there's also days where I can't wait for my day off and to stay home with my daughter and my family and have a slower day, have a day where we stay in and maybe watch some morning cartoons, or where we do arts and crafts, or we go to the grocery store and get stuff to make someone's favorite meal. And that's another part of my brain and my heart and myself that also needs to be fed, that also needs time. But these things occur in different portion sizes and in different frequencies for all of us. And it's always changing. It's not like, oh, you have one set ratio that works for you and you just need to set up your life that way. I know for me, it changes like every week what I'm looking for. Some weeks I feel like I could work all the time and I could just help so many people, and wouldn't that be great? And that'd be a massive impact in the world. But then I realized, well, why? Maybe some of that is ego is getting a little too out of control. Like maybe, I'm realizing that's feeding me too much. There's other times where I say, I don't need to ever work again. Like my life's mission is to be with my family, raise this child and all of that. And then one day everyone gets sick and I can't take it anymore and I need to go back to work. And I'm saying all of this because we all have to make choices like this. I just gave 2 examples where I do self-care and then I care for others, and then time where I spend at home and time where I'm at work. But it's all about finding what that balance is for you. And now so many personal experts or gurus or whatever talk about balance. And at times, I don't necessarily feel like there's a right balance. There's a balance that works for you in the moment, and that's the only thing that matters. And knowing that it's going to change tomorrow and you've got to start again and figure it out, those are the indicators that I look for. That's exactly I use feeling, right? Like, how is this working for me? I use fulfillment. Do I feel good at the end of the day? Do I, when I reflect on how I spent my time, does it seem in alignment with my values? And engagement. Engagement is the secret sauce to happiness. You can read books and books and books. If you're engaged with what you are doing, with what's right in front of you, then you are likely going to find more fulfillment from it. And that is happiness. So when I find myself, scrolling social media or wishing I was somewhere else or whatever, I'm not fully engaged. And therefore, if I'm wishing I was somewhere else doing something different, then I potentially could be happier. So those are the things that I use as indicators to check myself and see, is this life I've created, are these choices that I have made and signed myself up for, are they still working for me? And yesterday, when my daughter asked me to snuggle her as I'm getting ready for work, was one of those times where I really had to evaluate. And now part of me, of course, wanted to stop right there and stop and snuggle her and just be mom for a minute. But unfortunately, it doesn't always work like that. We can't just readjust our whole day in life in the moment that it's happening. But if it forces you to take pause, if it forces you to really examine, hey, does the way I have this life set up, does it still work for me? If not, what can I do different? What do I have control over? How have my values changed? What needs to shift to align better? Then we can start asking ourselves those questions